Good evening, my dear brother. You've been in my thoughts all day, and we're praying for your wife. And our thoughts and prayers are with her. Apparently, I was following up on Kit and day's activities. In fact, I reached out to me to go and actually pick him up. And up till this evening, the magistrate at Birkama courts already endorsed or executed the form. So he doesn't have to go to Birkama tomorrow. It is all done today. Only thing that remains is for the same form to be taken to Buba at the morgue tomorrow for them to actually start the process of the autopsy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Kiki Loves Nigeria. Now on this episode, I want you guys to listen to these messages that I have. They're in reference to Mattu's autopsy, okay? The autopsy was arranged and it was scheduled, but you guys, I am questioning whether it was done. Yes, I'm questioning whether it was done. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, let me fill you in on a little of the details surrounding Mary Mattu and what happened to her. So, just like all the other women, Mary's door was open and the keys were in the door. Mary was, I believe, in the bedroom. She was found in the bedroom. Okay. For some reason, the police, I don't know who, I'm not going to say the police because I don't know who impounded her truck. They took her truck, okay? And I guess they were treating the house like a crime scene. So no one could go into the house. Now, Mary's, well, I'm going to call him the informant. The informant was in the United States when all of this happened, okay? So once the informant went back to the Gambia, the informant needed a place to stay. He was staying at a guest house, all right? Now, he couldn't go back to the house until the police released the house and allowed him to enter the house, okay? So now the informant has got the okay from the police to go back into the house, but he's told not to go in the bedroom, okay? He's also told that he can come pick up Mary's truck. He's also told that he has to go to the court to gain access to Mary's bank account. Because when the informant came, unfortunately, the informant didn't have any funds, according to the lady on this tape. He didn't have any funds because he was going to use Mattu's money to pay for her own autopsy. I kid you not. I'm going to let you listen to it in this voice clip in just 1 second. Now, let's listen to the voice clip first, and then I'll say what I want to say about that voice clip. All right, here you go.
Good evening, my dear brother. You've been in my thoughts all day, and we're praying for your wife. And our thoughts and prayers are with her. Apparently, I was following up on Kit and Mr. Wickham's day's activities. In fact, I reached out to Mr. Wickham this morning to go and actually pick him up. And up till this evening, the magistrate at Birkama courts already endorsed or executed the form. So he doesn't have to go to Birkama tomorrow. It is all done today. Only thing that remains is for the same form to be taken to Buba at the morgue tomorrow for them to actually start the process of the autopsy. And Mr. Wickham informed me that according to him, Kit requested that he be left to go and do that particular carry out that particular transaction himself.
I think that right there is suspect. Why didn't Keith want Mr. Wickham to go with him to request the autopsy? That's the first thing. Mr. Wickham was helping with everything, but when it came to go to request to actually take the paper to get the autopsy done, you had to take it to get it requested. When it came down to actually submitting the paperwork to have the autopsy done, the informant wants to go by himself. He doesn't want anyone to go with him. That's why I think this is suspect. I'm wondering now if the autopsy was ever even done. All right, let's continue with these tapes.
For them to actually start the process of the autopsy. And Mr. Wickham informed me that according to him, Keith requested that he be left to go and do that particular carry out that particular transaction himself. I'll call him and find out exactly what he wants, whether he wants me to pick him up and take him to Banjul or he wants to do it himself, because that is what Mr. Wickham told me, that it is Keith's request that he will take it from there. But the Birkama thing was done today. I called a magistrate friend that I knew, and she was sick.
This lady emphasizes that the informant doesn't want anyone to go with him to the morgue to submit the paperwork to get the autopsy done. Because the lady is saying, I'm going to call and double check to make sure this is correct. That he wants to go alone to submit the paperwork to the morgue to get the autopsy done. That's why I think this is suspect, people.
Process of the autopsy. So all is done today. Most of the work is done. And I am told by inspector that in fact Keith can move into the apartment or the house tomorrow, as long as it doesn't have anything to do with the bedroom. So I will convey that message to him when I finish talking to you or leaving this message. But everything is fine. If you want me to take him to Banjul, I'll be very happy to do so. And then I will follow up with Mr. Buba. But whatever it is, I'll keep you posted on developments. You have a good evening and be rest assured of my support. If you need anything, please reach out. Thanks a lot and God bless you. Bye. You cannot just walk into the bank and have access to her account. There is Hi, my brother. By way of update, I spoke to Buba at the morgue. Buba spoke to the pathologist and they've agreed to carry out the autopsy tomorrow at midday. And they will also prepare Sister Mary's body for evacuation to the United States at the same time. I've informed Brother Keith. He's got the red truck back. So he will pick the police officers and the file from the station at 10 a.m. And then they can head to Banjul to make it for midday. The fee for the autopsy and to embalm the body and everything is $33,000. He said he doesn't have that money with him. So I promised to raise the money and give it to him to take care of the payment. And then once he sort out the account, Sister Mary's account, which is also another process, because he cannot just walk into the bank and have access to her account. There is a process of getting some documentation done, proof of the demise of Sister Mary, and then proof that he's the husband, and then they can now grant him access to the account. So, but what is important is primary need right now is for the autopsy to be carried out tomorrow at midday by the grace of God, and then I'll be able to loan him the money to take care of the fees. So that's the update, and everything is set. So at least tomorrow, by God's grace, the autopsy bit would have been done, and what will remain is just the report writing. You have a good evening, brother. Bye.
So just like I suspected, it is a report. It's an autopsy report. What we had was a death certificate. Now let me explain this, okay? If he would do the autopsy was going to take longer, because the autopsy, you have to do tests, you have to write a report. It's like the whole body. You examine the whole body to find out what was the cause of death, okay? Because the body just doesn't die. The body is a well-oiled machine. Okay, it works together smoothly. So if something happens to it, they can pretty much trace what happened to it. All right. So that was going to be a problem because he had no money. The informant had no money. He needed access to Mattu's money because he had none. You heard her just say she was going to loan him the money to pay for the autopsy until he gained access to Mary's account. And did you hear? You heard her say that you have to show proof of her demise. Okay? Now, proof of her demise is a death certificate or an autopsy report. Now, if you choose to get an autopsy, it's going to take you much longer to get that death certificate. You're not going to get that death certificate right away. You're gonna have to wait. So the death certificate came like within 24 hours. After these conversations, within like 24 hours, there was a death certificate. And that's when I called my county coroner and I was like, can you do an autopsy and get the report back within 4 hours? 4 hours, 8 hours, less than 24 hours? After I contacted my coroner's office, they explained to me that an autopsy with a tox screen takes 8 weeks, at least 8 weeks to come back. And I asked about the tox screen. They said that has to be done. I said, can they do it, once the body arrives back to the United States? They said it depends on if they took, the bodily fluids in a timely manner and if they kept them stored, where the biomaterial would not degrade. So you have to keep it cold and you have to take the blood and other fluids like right away so they won't go bad, okay? And if that wasn't done, then the chances of getting a good tox screen is 0 to none. But an autopsy can still be performed once the body arrives back into the States. Okay, it can be done. The reason I don't think the informant followed through with this autopsy was because, again, there's no report, and also it was going to slow down his process of having access to Mattu's money. Remember, he has none. He has none. Okay? He doesn't have any, according to this lady on the tape. So he needs access to Mattu's money, but he can't gain access until the court has documentation that she has indeed passed away. And I don't think he's going to hold up him having access to funds. I don't think he's going to hold that up by getting an autopsy report that her family is requesting. He wasn't requesting it. Her family was requesting it.
At 10 a.m. and then they can head to Banjul to make it for midday. The fee for the autopsy and to embalm the body and everything is $33,000. He said he doesn't have that money with him. So I promised to raise the money and give it to him to take care of the payment. And then once he sort out the account, Sister Mary's account, which is also another process, because he cannot just walk into the bank and have access to her account. There is a process of getting some documentation done, proof of the demise of Sister Mary, and then proof that he's the husband, and then they can now grant him access to the account. So, but what is important is primary need right now is for the autopsy to be carried out tomorrow at midday by the grace of God, and then I'll be able to loan him the money to take care of the fees. So that's the update, and everything is set. So at least tomorrow, by God's grace, the autopsy bit would have been done, and what will remain is just the report writing. You have a good evening, brother. Bye.
So what do y'all think? Do y'all think he got the autopsy done? Or do y'all think he just went ahead with the death certificate and rolled with that? Because for the death certificate, they're going to just go by what the informant says. Yeah, they're not going to insist on an autopsy. That's America that does that. They're not going to insist on an autopsy. If he says he doesn't want an autopsy, there will be no autopsy done. So what do y'all think? Do you think there was an autopsy? Or you think not? Drop your comments in the comments section and tell me what you think. All right, I'll be right back at y'all soon.